Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my channel Fly Stellar Aeronautics. Today's topic is Intertropical Convergence Zone. So what is ITCZ? ITCZ or doldrums is a belt of low pressure which circles the earth generally near the equator where the trade winds of the northern and southern hemispheres converge. If you look at the image here, when the northeasterly trade winds and the southeasterly trade winds they converge, they form a region of low pressure which is not precisely situated at 0 degree latitude or the equator. There is some latitude difference between ITCZ and equator. There is a linear pattern of clouds near the equator, and these are the clouds which are above ITCZ because when northeasterly trade winds and southeasterly trade winds they converge, because of the heat, the air rises and it leads to cloud formation. We will take a look at why ITCZ is formed, how does it develop, and when and where do we see them. Let's understand why do they develop. As we just now saw the definition of ITCZ, that is Intertropical Convergence Zone, as the name suggests, it is intertropical, which means that the trade winds from the tropical region in the north and south of equator are converging, and the area where they're converging is known as ITCZ, which is not the equator but it is near the equator. As we can see, there is a clear demarcation of 0 degree latitude, which is the equator, and ITCZ is near the equator. Now, the northeast trade winds and the southeast trade winds are converging to the west, and the reason for that is because of a concept which is known as Coriolis force, about which you will learn in the next video. The link of the video on Coriolis force is in the bio. Do check it out. Now the next question which comes to mind is, why are these trade winds converging? That is because, as we have studied, that the wind travels from high pressure to low pressure. That is what we can see in this diagram, that the wind is blowing from high pressure to low pressure. And since the equator is more heated up as compared to subtropics or poles, the area where ITCZ is formed is near the equator. Let's understand how do they develop. As we know that the Earth's axis is tilted at 23.5 degrees, because of which even the latitudes are tilted, which means when sunlight falls on the Earth, equator is not the closest to the sun. It is the Tropic of Cancer which is closest to the sun, and that is the time when it is summer in northern hemisphere. Similarly, Tropic of Capricorn is closest to the sun during summer in southern hemisphere. Thus we can see that ITCZ moves in the north in northern hemisphere during summer in northern hemisphere and moves to the south in southern hemisphere during summer in the southern hemisphere. As we had studied in the previous slide, that when the northeast trade winds and the southeast trade winds meet, an area is formed which is called as ITCZ, that is, wind moves from high pressure to low pressure, and since the equator is heated up, a low pressure is created. And because of insulation, the warm air rises, and when it cools, clouds are formed, which leads to heavy rainfall, floods, and cyclones. These are the characteristics of ITCZ. Let's understand where do they develop. As we have studied in the previous slide, that ITCZ follows low pressure and maximum insulation. In this diagram, we can see that ITCZ is formed near the equator. But ITCZ July is much higher as compared to ITCZ January. Although it is near the equator, we notice that it is extended higher in the northern hemisphere, and the reason for that is because land heats faster than the oceans. And if you notice, there are maximum continents in the northern hemisphere, because of which there is much more landmass in the northern hemisphere as compared to the southern hemisphere. And that is the reason why the maximum extension in the northern hemisphere is 25 degrees, whereas in the southern hemisphere it is 20 degrees. Thus, ITCZ extends higher in the northern hemisphere. Lastly, let's understand when did they develop in India. As we can see from the diagram that ITCZ in India is in the northern part of India in summer, which leads to low pressure in northern India, which causes monsoon winds to get attracted to Indian peninsula. Its movement northwards towards India during summer brings moist winds and triggers the monsoon. As we have seen that the southeast trade winds, once they cross the equator, they turn to the right because of Coriolis force and hits the west coast of India, causing the southwest monsoon to commence. We will understand in deep about southwest monsoon in Indian climatology topic. This is all about the intertropical convergence zone. With this, we come to the end of the topic of ITCZ. I hope you found the video helpful and insightful. If you did, then please do like and subscribe to my channel, Fly Stellar Aeronautics. You can also share the video with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get new video updates on other aviation topics. For any doubts, you can write in the comment section or reach out to me on the following email ID, or you can DM to me on my Insta or Facebook page. I'll surely revert to the same as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon with another video. Till then, take care. Happy and safe landings to all.